Easy now, what's good Buck Nation? It's your rude boy Juan Swagadello, and finally the preseason is over and the start of the 2019 season is amongst us. On today's episode, I'm going to tell you how I think the Bucs record will end up being come January. So with that, let's get it up. Alright, so let's face it, not a lot of people are expecting much from this group of swashbucklers, and that's okay. I get it. They haven't been a good team 8 out of the last 10 years, and have also been locked in the basement of the NFC South for the past decade. I'll be the first to admit, they've been downright basura. However, there are also other factors in play why people aren't showing the Buccaneers any respect this season. For starters, the NFC South is stacked with good teams, and obviously the Saints are la creme de la creme. The Falcons have Matty Ice, they made some moves on their offensive line, and now have a healthy defense. And lastly, the Panthers have some dangerous offensive firepower of their own. Those are 6 tough games the Bucs have to get through. On top of that, the Bucs have one of the hardest schedules in the NFL. Bull, I tell you what, whoever the hell makes the schedule for the NFL didn't cut the Bucs any slack. You know, when you're one of the worst teams in the league, the schedule the following season is supposed to be a little bit more favorable. These jabronis have the Bucs playing all over the place, traveling more than 20,000 miles. That's gotta be the league's most. Yeah, not fair. But as Ric Flair says, to be the man, you got to beat the man. Woo! 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 Lastly, the defense is one big fat question mark. Even with all the additions through free agency and the draft and a new scheme, people are not at all convinced the Bucs improved on this side of the ball. So I've seen predictions go from 9-7 to 7-9 to 5-11 to 3-13. But the majority of the predictions I'm seeing are all pointing towards another losing record. I will say, Bruce Arians is no loser, and he didn't come to Tampa to lose. He's in win now mode, and he believes the talent we have can produce the W's. So with that, here are my predictions on how the Buccaneers will do this season. Yeah, I'm a little biased, but whatever. The Buccaneers open the season at home versus the 49ers. I've had this game circled on my calendar ever since my boy Quan Alexander signed with the Niners. However, the real story here is how Jimmy G will perform coming off a season-ending injury. Frankly, from what I've seen, he's looked sloppy. It's gonna take some time before he'll be able to gel with all of his new weapons. The 49ers will have a long trip and won't be in sync on both sides of the ball. This will be a high-scoring affair with the Bucs finishing on top for the W. Week 2, the Buccos travel to Carolina to play the Panthers on Thursday Night Football, a revenge game for former Buck defensive tackle Gerald McCoy. If I was a betting man, I'd take the Panthers on this one, and that's because the Bucs are 1-6 in Thursday Night Football games, since Thursday night games were a thing. But considering Cam Newton's foot injury and the improvement of the secondary for the Bucs, I think our boys will pull this one out. Devin White is going to be all over the place on this one. Bucs win a close one. In week 3, the Bucs host the New York Football Giants. In the last 7 meetings, the Bucs are 1-6 against the G-Men, but I like our chances in this one. The Giants are without Odell Beckham Jr., and who knows what we'll get out of Eli Manning. We might even see rookie quarterback Daniel Jones play, depending on how Eli performs. The real X factor here is, can the Bucs stop Saquon Barkley? I think they can. They'll win this one by a Matt Gay field goal. Now this is where the schedule gets hard for our Bucs as they start a grueling 6-week stretch of road trips. In week 4, they have a long flight to the west side to play the defending NFC champs, the LA Rams. USC alum Ronald Jones comes back home to the Coliseum, and I'm predicting him to have a breakout game on the ground against the Rams. But if I'm being realistic, I don't see the Bucs winning this one. They'll fall short and lose a close one. In week 5, the gang travel to the Bayou and play the Sweat Hogs of New Orleans. The Superdome is a tough place to win a game, but the Bucs have proven to win there. In the last 4 seasons, the series has been split between the Saints and Bucs, going 4-4. This will be another close game, but ultimately, the Bucs will lose this one. In week 6, the boys sail the rough seas of the Atlantic Ocean to London to go up against the Panthers for their second meeting of the season. This is technically a home game, but the Bucs might hear some boos in the stadium, and that's because of the Glazers, who own the Bucs and also happen to own the English Premier League's Manchester United, one of the rivals to Tottenham Hotspurs, who will be hosting this game. The Bucs are 0-2 in international games, and with a healthier Cam Newton, they will lose overseas. Finally, we get a bye in Week 7. In Week 8, the Bucs continue their travels to Tennessee. Will Jameis Winston finally beat Marcus Mariota? My answer here, yes. The Titans are overrated, and so is Mariota. The Bucs are normally pretty bad off the bye week, but it's a new regime and I like this matchup, so I'm taking the Bucs. Adam Humphries will feel the sting of defeat from his former teammates. Bucs pull off the win. In the final week of a grueling stretch of road games, the Bucs travel again to the West Coast, this time to play the Seahawks in Week 9. Although the Legion of Boom days are long gone, they still can make some noise, especially with the recent addition of Jadeveon Clowney from Houston. The Hawks still have Russell Wilson under center, who is dangerous no matter what team you put around him. Add the 12th man element to the mix, and you have a tough outing. This will be a close one, but ultimately the Seahawks have the upper hand. Finally, in Week 10, the Bucs get to host a home game, this time against Bruce Arians' old team, the Arizona Cardinals. With rookie quarterback sensation Kyler Murray, stud running back David Johnson, and veteran wide receiver Larry Fitzgerald, the Cardinals look to take down our Buccos, but Bruce Arians' experience with that team will give him some leverage, and he and Todd Bowles will know how to contain all of them, especially Kyle Murray. Bucs will win this one easily. In Week 11, the Saints come marching into the swamps of Tampa Bay. I'm hoping the heat and humidity wear out a tired and fatiguing Drew Brees, who's been known to lose some steam in the later weeks of the season. The Bucs win this one by a close margin and split the series with the Saints for another year. In Week 12, the Bucs travel to Atlanta to play against their former coach, Dirk Koetter, who is now the offensive coordinator for the Falcons. The Falcons have a healthy defense to complement their high-powered offense. I see the Dirty Birds getting the upper hand in this one, and the Bucs lose big. In Week 13, the Bucs have a short trip as they go up against their crosstown rivals from Jacksonville. Historically, the Bucs have done pretty well against the Jaguars, and I don't expect anything to change here. On paper, this may be a snooze fest, but I think this might be an exciting one. The Jaguars have a stacked defense while the Bucs have a stacked offense. I think the Bucs defense will make more plays than the Jaguars offense. Bucs win another close one. Now, before we move to the last quarter of the season, let's take a look at where we're at. I have the Bucs at 7-5 at this point, and I know, you guys are all looking at me, laughing out loud, thinking I'm some sort of jabroni, and that's okay. But going into the last quarter of the season, the Bucs will be fighting for a playoff spot. Mark my words. In Week 14, the Bucs host the Colts, and initially I had this game as a loss, but with the latest and surprising news of Andrew Luck's retirement, I quickly changed my pick from an L to a W. No luck, no problem for the Bucs. The Bucs then travel to Detroit Rock City to play the Lions in Week 15, and they've done pretty well in the last few meetings against the Lions, but ultimately I think the Bucs will disappoint in this one. The last two games of the season will be tough for the Bucs, but luckily they're at home. First, they'll host the Texans in Week 16, and I don't like this matchup at all. The Texans have a stingy defense, even with the loss of Jadeveon Clowney, and their offense is dangerous as well. With Deshaun Watson under center, DeAndre Hopkins sure hands, and the addition of Duke Johnson Jr., the Texans will be too much for the Bucs to handle. This might be an ugly game, and the Bucs will lose. At this point, I have the Bucs at 8-6, and they'll be fighting for a wild card spot. They'll end the season hosting their divisional rivals, the Falcons, in what will be a playoff-like football game. This will likely be a high-scoring affair, and with Bruce's experience beating Dirk Koetter's offenses 2-0 while with the Cardinals, I give the Bucs the edge as they will be playing inspired football and fighting for a playoff spot. So in the end, I have the Bucs going 9-7 for the season. Will it be enough to make the playoffs for the first time in 11 years? Maybe. Maybe not. The NFC is stacked with good teams, so we'll have to wait and see. So that's my record prediction for the 2019 Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Let me know if you think I'm crazy or if I'm on to something by leaving a comment below. If you like the video, then hit the like button, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button as well. Heck, go above and beyond by hitting the bell icon so that you can get real-time notifications on when the new videos drop. Going forward, we'll be dropping game preview videos every Friday, so keep an eye out on that. But before I go, check out your rude boy as he represents the Bucs in my main man Razmig's latest video entitled Bread Party. Did you know that when it comes to calories, 1 beer equals 2 slices of bread? Let's get turned up on some loaves of bread, folks! So until next time, Buck Nation, y'all know what to do, and that's fire them cannons.